Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Zoom meeting today. So we will have some topics, different ones. But before we do everything, I think we should congratulate some of the fellows who joined and finished their project. One of them is Dr. Rayan, Hassan, and her team. Actually, they presented their poster in Boston this last week, and it was a big event, the American Neurology Association. So if Rayan is available and ready, maybe she can give us some talk about her experience and her presentation there. Rayan.
Hey, assalamu alaikum, guys. Yes, I am ready right now. Just give me 1 minute, Dr. Nadir. I'm going to just open my link so that I can share my screen as well with everyone, okay?
Sounds good. While she's doing that, Boston is a very big one, as we just talked about. And the societies there are very active. So if you are in Boston area, you can join different association of different societies. You can participate in volunteering. Actually, one of the first batch, Dr. Khalid, he was in Boston, and he did a lot of work there. So he joined the free clinic there, and he worked in, I think, one of the hospitals, and he matched. So that's a good thing. All right, Rayan, when you are ready.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. Oh, sorry. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nadir. Yeah, so I presented my research, alhamdulillah, last it's a week and a half now, on behalf of my team. So I'm going to share with you. Like Dr. Nadir said, it was a really large event, alhamdulillah. It was a full week. So from the Saturday to the Thursday. And besides the poster presentations, they had a lot of different things going on. So they had talks, they had like an academic hub, an innovative hub. So many opportunities for you to network. Okay, let me share my screen with you guys so I can show you. Okay. So when I last presented to you guys, I presented it as a PowerPoint, and then we quickly adjusted and made it into like a poster. I hope everyone can see it.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the good thing about it is my presentation was on Monday. So I had the chance to go early on the Sunday, and I was able to attend other people's poster presentations. And so I walked around, I was able to get some feedback to see how other doctors presented and how they conducted it. So we put it all in one poster, alhamdulillah, and I was able, that way, everyone that came by the poster was able to see. With the AAN, it's a little bit different than the other conferences, is because this one, it's virtual. So every person had their own screen. So I was able to zoom in on the screen directly and zoom out so that I could like speak about the different graphs that I had and the different results that we came up with our research. I had a lot of interest. So there's a lot of people that came to me. So there was, at the conference, it's filled with medical students. There's specialists in different fields. You have PhD, you have nurse practitioners, there's pharmacists, there's people that are like medical reps. I think that's what they call them. So a lot of different people, a lot of opportunity to connect with people from various fields, all within the realm of medicine. One thing that really helped me was with the help of Dr. Nadir, we were able to generate a QR code. And so as everyone came and I was able to present my research, I encouraged them, oh, please connect, like this is my QR code. It was really quick, really easy. Everyone just scanned it with their phone, and my email was able to pop up. I got a lot of emails afterwards from different people wanting to network and wanting to connect and discuss. So that benefited me a lot for sure. And I think the green really stood out. So the color of the AAN is green. And it just turned out that Michigan State University Spartan is also green. Okay, so when I presented my research, it's different in the sense of you're doing it multiple times. So I didn't have to necessarily go through like the introduction to the objectives, the methods. People that came and saw my poster, they wanted to know the results. This is your research topic. Okay, what was the findings that you had? So majority of my presentation was surrounded around my results section and the discussion part of it. So I had a lot of interest, and it's funny because you need to know your research inside and out. There was doctors that came and asked me about, for example, when we did our results, we spoke about general anesthesia as well as combined anesthetic and the difference between the two, and because both of them cause postoperative cognitive dysfunction, but they said, why does this one cause it more than the other? So these doctors are they're very knowledgeable in their field, and so they would ask me questions and I would explain to them. And then there was one doctor who, he was trying to play a trick on me, I guess. He was asking me specific questions about like anesthesiology and the results that I came up with. And alhamdulillah, I was able to answer. And then at the end, he was like, good job. He's like, I wanted to make sure that you knew what you were doing. Because it is a systematic review, we're pretty much, I'm presenting results from other people's studies, right? So they wanted to know, is this person knowledgeable about every study that she's basing her results section on? And so alhamdulillah, like I said, I was able to answer his questions, and he came back and we networked, and he said, thank you very much. Like, I'm happy that you're knowledgeable in it. You know what you're doing, you know what you're explaining. And then they'll also ask you other questions. So I had a couple of doctors asking me like, okay, these are the results for the elderly. Did you find out how anesthesia affects people of different age groups? So like adults, for example, like from 30 to, I don't know, 60, or what about like adolescents and children? And so alhamdulillah, before I did this, I did do some research. I had one of the systematic reviews that we found discussed the anesthesia on other age groups. So I was knowledgeable about that. So I was able to actually talk to them about, yes, it wasn't directly specific to my research, but again, you have to make sure that you're ready for those questions and you speak with confidence. And I think that's the difference, is even if you don't know it, don't be shy to say like, oh, that wasn't in the realm of my research study, but that is something that I will definitely look into. And it can even be an opportunity to network with that person, in the sense of, I would love your information. And once I find that that information out, I'd be more than happy to reach out to you with the results or with the question, with the answer to your question. What else? So after I presented, I had the opportunity to like go around to different hubs. So like I said, in the AAN, they had different like academic hubs, innovative hubs. They had a section where it was like about wellness and well-being. So there was like a paint section and like a dog section where you could go and like pet puppies. So it was neat because it's more of an informal opportunity to network with other people. And when I did also present, sorry guys, I'm like going back and forth. When we presented my poster, the people next to me were actually specialists. So the person next to me was a neurologist working at Harvard Medical School, and he was presenting his results. So it was neat because in our specific section, it was mainly like cognitive behavior. I can share some pictures if that's okay with Dr. Nadir. I don't want to take up too much time as well from the other fellows that are presenting today.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'll just open my preview app and I'll share some of the pictures so that you guys can have an understanding about what I'm talking about, okay? Okay, just bear with me. I'm going to just open it. Okay. So there was different areas. So let me just get rid of this area. So right here, this was my neighborhood. So I was in neighborhood 12, poster session 5. So the posters in my area were the behavioral and cognitive neurology and clinical practice. So it's neat because it gives you an idea. All the doctors that were interested in that specific study or those specific topics, they were able to come and view them. There was 4 other posters or 4 other screens in my area. And so all of us were talking about very similar things, specifically this. So this was a picture of me in front of my screen. I was able to present it there. And I just got like an impromptu. So you can kind of just see how it is. Do you guys see this image? I'll try to zoom in. So everyone has different screens in front of them. So this was neighborhood 12. And, people, different physicians, different people would come up to your screen and you would have the opportunity to present to multiple people throughout the hour session. So I think within the hour, I probably spoke to around 30 different people. And it's not necessarily like one-on-one, but like there would be a group. So like 3 people at a time would come and want to know about your research. And then another group would come. So you would have opportunity to like take a little bit of breaks, but that's how it was. So there was like lots of opportunity for come and like to take pictures in front of the different signs that they had. This is one of the sessions. So this was like a head talk that they presented. It was one of the doctors at UPenn. So she spoke about anatomy. And again, it gives you the opportunity to go up and talk to the different doctors. It was neat with AAN because they knew that there was a big group of medical students present. So they're wanting to come. They're wanting to come and help and answer any questions that anyone had. And yeah, I would really encourage you guys to, that there's a summer conference coming up. I believe it's like June or July. I'm not sure of the exact dates, but go on their website, look at the different requirements that they need. I believe that the June and July conference, it's neurology, it's emergency and hospital neurology. So if any of you guys have a research question that's going to be similar to like hospital or emergency neurology, by all means, start working on it now and try to apply for the summer conference. It looks really good on the CV. And again, you have so much opportunity to network with different physicians, different things. So like for me right now, I wanted to go into internal medicine, but now my head is turning after this experience and after talking to so many different neurologists. You don't realize how specific or how many different options you have in the sense of like subspecialties within the field. And I'm like, again, my team is amazing and we couldn't have done it without them. So all of you guys, like I encourage everyone to like write on the group. If you have any research topic, don't wait for other people to come up with a research topic for you guys to join their group, but like just anything, write it on the group. Hey guys, I have a research topic in mind. Reach out to Dr. Nadir, reach out to your leaders or your seniors. And one idea, you guys can come up with a question and hopefully be published. Yeah. If there's any questions or anything, by all means, please let me know. Oh, sorry, I wanted to say one thing as well. You guys have to keep in mind that different conferences and different publications, they all have like a monetary component to it. And so Dr. Nadir's been very helpful, but even within your team, when you do have the team, you guys are able to like split the cost between one of the members on my team. Alhamdulillah, she had her manager at the job she worked at, and he was able to give us a grant to help pay off the cost of this conference because it is quite expensive. There's accommodation, And even the conference, you have to like register and pay a small fee. But when you guys have the group dynamic and you guys are working together, it can also help pay off the cost. So keep that in mind. But I encourage everyone to, research, look at different conferences. Again, try to find the conferences prior to like the questions. So the conference for the American Academy of Neurology in June, July, it's hospital emergency medicine, right? Hospital emergency neurology. So neurology is your field. Try to come up with a question now so that you guys can apply for the conference and be able to present it in time, inshallah. Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rayan. And some of the costs, if you want to add the membership or the registration.
Yes. Yeah, so when you guys register with the American Academy of Neurology, it doesn't just look good on your CV. So like you're a member, but as a student, the cost is so much less, right? So the earlier you register for it, the cost will differ depending on the conferences coming up. And when you're a member, it's not just about the specific conference, but they have different perks. So they'll send out like different emails like, oh, we have this event online, or we have this thing coming up online. There's this doctor that's presenting with this, like, we want your feedback. Like, it was my birthday last week and I got an email from the AAN saying, happy birthday, Dr. Hassan. Like, thank you for being a valued member. So there's so much different things that you guys can benefit by being a member, like Dr. Nadir said. And again, thank you, Dr. Nadir, for your mentorship and your guidance. Like, we couldn't have done it without you. So alhamdulillah.
Thank you so much for presenting your work and your teamwork. And as you mentioned, it's a teamwork. So
yes, absolutely.
Congratulations.
I appreciate that. If anyone has any questions, by all means, like ask now or type on the screen or reach out to me through WhatsApp. I'd be more than happy to help, inshallah. Thank you, Dr. Nadir.
You're welcome. Thanks for sharing this. Excellent. So this is how the projects are done in this group or this program. So you come up with the idea and you find some people who are interested. Then you work with the team. One of the team member will be the leader. Then some of you will be divided into addressing the task, small task here and there. So when you complete the project, we will review it and then we submit it. And if accepted, then some of you might be able to present in person as Dr. Hassan did, or sometimes we can do it virtual. So some of the event might be combined in person and virtual. So in the coming, I think in July, the Alzheimer Association has a conference where they accept the virtual and in person. So one of the team here is working on presenting another poster similar to what Dr. Rayan did. So they will present that virtually. The actual conference will be in Holland, in Netherlands. So this is how we want you to do your project. So as Dr. Rayan mentioned, if you have any interest in neurology, I know Rufaida mentioned that she has. So if you have some, look up some of the neurology conferences, as Dr. Rayan mentioned, some conferences coming, and we can work on joining this one, or in the future, the one next year. But you need to work in teams, and let me know if I can be of help to you guys.
I just wanted to quickly mention, Dr. Nadir. I just kind of want to quickly tell you guys like the route of it's very easy. Once you guys come up with the research topic, I would suggest doing a quick PubMed search. On PubMed, you can do like an advanced search. Just write down your things. So like I did the effects of anesthesiology on postoperative cognitive dysfunction. I just put like anesthesia, POCD, elderly. And it kind of just quickly showed me what I was working with. Because when you do your systemic review, you want to make sure you have enough articles to base your research on. So instead of just, working really hard on generating a specific research question, just come up with your different keywords, do a quick PubMed search and see what's out there. If you feel like there's enough references to base your systematic review on, then quickly do that. And when it comes to your research project, I would recommend splitting it into two. There's usually 9 people in the group, and then Dr. Nadir is the 10th, but just doing like, okay, half the people will do the data collection. Where, okay, we generate our research question, those 4 people will come out, they'll do all the data collection, they'll look at what articles are out there and what is present, they'll share it with the group. And then once you guys do your data collection, then that's when you guys can start working on writing your systematic review. So you'll have your introduction, you'll have your methodology, introduction and background, I would say is the same. So intro, background, your methodology, your results section, and your discussion. That's all it really is. And all you have to do is, again, the data collection that was done, just take that and write it. If you guys are really it depends on how much time you're putting into it, but I would say 6 to 8 weeks, you can generate a systematic review and, have it completed. It shouldn't take too long once you guys are actively working on it. But funny thing is my research question, actually, Dr. Nadir, there was one of the meetings on the app you had shared, there's online meetings from, I think it was Psychology Hub or something. And I attended one of the Zoom meetings from the app, and they were talking about elderly, and they were talking about the effects that anesthesiology had on it. And before, I didn't think that there was any relation. So just attending that simple meeting from the geriatric Zoom app, I was able to come up with the research question. Sorry, guys. I'm a mom, so I got some babies around me.
That's fine. We love kids, so. Hello. Hey. So cute. How old?
He's 15 months. Say hi, Samuri.
Oh, lovely.
Keeps me on my toes for sure. Thank you, Dr. Nadir.
Yeah. So if there is any questions for the chat, and she can be accessed also from her email, her phone number. Thank you again, Dr. Rayan. So cute, God bless. All right. The pink team, anyone from the pink team? So I wanted from the fellows who matched, anyone here who matched to the program's residency or fellowship from the seniors? I don't see any. I just want to share with you, Dr. Akhila was supposed to be here today to share her experience and her opportunity, how she got lost. So for the seniors, it's May and next month, June. So during these few weeks, there are some programs that are going to be open, or they will have some openings because of different situations. Some might have residents or applicants who accepted the program, but they found different opportunities, so they may switch and they decide to decline the post or the opening or the opportunity in the program. Some might have visa issues, some might have other obligations, or some situation where they will not be able to start. So these programs will be running out of time to fill the position, because they need to start their July 1st with a full team for residents, like first year and they need someone to fill the gap or the position. So if you have at least, if you have some experience, if you have ERAS application ready, if you have maybe citizenship or green card, if you are able to secure a visa, if you don't like have a visa, if you are in the US, maybe it's better. I would suggest that you send emails to all programs in the specialty that you are interested in, internal medicine, family, neurology, any programs that you think about, and just in your title, mention that you are applicant with a visa or with a US citizenship, you have experience and maybe ready to start the job in July available. And in the text or the body of the email, you can divide into a short message, just highlight your qualities or your experiences. So some of the fellows in the past did that, and they found some openings. And this goes for the residency program. There are some fellowship programs where they accept international medical graduates. So also you can apply to these fellowship programs in geriatric, I know, nephrology or infectious disease, some of them are there. So maybe you can do the same, try to approach these programs. Most of the time they want you to have some experience, at least 1 year or some years of experience clinical, so that when you start, you will be able to jump right away. So if you have this, maybe you can approach some of the programs. It happened to me when I finished my first year. Actually, the first year in residency, I was filling a gap, filling a position. I didn't know what the problem with that program, but they contacted me in last of May, early June, telling me, if you are ready, we want to interview you. So they did the interview and they accepted me on spot. So by mid-July, I was there. I moved from Buffalo to New Jersey to start the program. And the second year, I applied to all internal medicine program in the US, and I got 2 interviews, one in the Michigan area and one in Tennessee. So that was like the interview was over the phone, and I accepted the position here in Michigan. So what I did, I just explained to you the way I did it. I sent an email with just a few words highlighting my resume in shining words, and then the text where I put my detailed information. So I mentioned that I was a postdoctoral fellow at Harvard. I did 3 years or 4 years of research. I did some clinical experience. So I have the US citizenship and I'm ready. So these are the keywords for me when I sent my emails. So it was mass emails and I got 2 responses. So maybe there is some spots there, maybe there are some opportunities for you guys if you are interested, if you have this qualification for the programs. I think someone raised his or her hand a few minutes ago. If you have questions, you can go ahead. Or any comment, Patman. Go ahead, Dr. Patman. Go ahead, Dr. Patman Tahir.
Good morning, Dr. Nadir. Can I go with my question?
Yes, go ahead. Please go ahead.
I would like to know how can we know about these programs? Is it online? Should we search their sites or?
So the AAA and the AMA, I think they have Farida program where they have a list of all the programs. So you can build a set of list of programs And I think between the fellows, there are some programs that accept an international, so friendly programs. And then you can decide which program in which area if you are specific about certain areas. So you can make a long list, or you can make a short list depending on what you want. In my case, I used Farida online. I downloaded all the, I think at that time, 253 programs in telemedicine, and I sent all the emails to all of them. So I don't think there is a one file list of all the programs, but you can get it, or you can get it one by one from AMA website.
Thank
There
you
could
so
be
much.
some. You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Now I
Hi.
understand.
Hello.
Hello, go ahead.
Sorry, because I was trying to unmute, but I don't know what was wrong.
That's
My
right.
question is like, my question is like, I'm not ready now for application, but I am like, maybe I will be next year, I will apply next year, but I have a lot of red flags. So anything that I can do to strengthen my CV, because like I'm old grad and like with very big, long clinical gap. So I don't know, like, do you have any suggestions for us, for me, or for anyone like in the same situation like me?
And that's a great question. Good question. Thanks for asking this. So actually in the first batch one and one after that, we have some fellows who also graduated more than 5 years. So this program, actually, we want to build, or we want to help empower you to get a good CV so that you can be a good competitive candidate. So from your side, what you want to do, if you have experience, clinical experience in the past, that's well and good, but we want a fresh recent experience. So if you can achieve a couple of months, different places, externship or some type of observership or involvement in one clinic or a couple of clinics, that would be great, because they want you to see how the patients are roomed in, vitals, history taking, examination plans, and management and follow-up. So if you can achieve this, that would be very good in your resume. So you want to show them that despite you have been graduated some years ago, and you lost contact with the clinical for some reason, and they know some of you might have families with kids, and you don't have the opportunity to work. So they know the fact that it happens to some of the applicants, but what they want from you is to show that you are still able to treat patients, to manage patients, to take history exam, and so forth. So they want you to do some clinical experience. So if you have that in your resume, then that would be great. I know some of the doctors here in Michigan, they offer some weeks like observership or externship or whatever they name it. So you can come and join them, and maybe they will give you feedback about your exam, or if you see them how they do the exam here, or the management plan and so forth, or the EMR even, you know how the system. So you will put in your resume that you did this period of clinical observership or examship with this clinic or this doctors, and then you repeat that with a different clinic, different people. This will help you as far as clinical wise, EMR orientation, and also you can get some recommendation letters if you are active in the clinic, if you are asking questions, if you are involved with the team there. They will say, oh, this is a good one. She or he is interested in this field, and we can write them recommendation letter. So it could help you So you will get the recommendation letters. In your CV, you will have the opportunity to write in many sections that you work in this clinic, you gain this experience, you work on the AMR, whatever. So this is one thing you can do. Sometimes you can do that, as I mentioned in the beginning. One of the fellows did the free clinic. So he volunteered in the free clinic in Boston area. And what he did, he went there to volunteer, but the doctor there, he also shadowed him and show him things. So he was involved much more in a sense that he was a team member in that clinic for a few weeks. And then it helped him get oriented with the system, with how they manage the patients here in the US. And he get that the volunteer part. And also he got a letter of recommendation from the doctor there. So it's gonna be very useful for you to highlight that you are involved in the clinical setting to show them that you will be a good fit. When you start in July, they don't want you to be like, oh, how do we do this? How do we do that? They want you to be fast. And know the system, know how you admit the patient, how you put the patient to the floor, send him out, and discharge them from the hospital, something like that.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Dr.
Yeah, I have
Akhila.
another.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I have another question. So like now, yeah, I'm working as like medical assistant. I work as patient care tech. Is this like will be considered clinical experience? I'm still working in this here in US. Is it considered clinical experience?
I think it depends on how you put it in your CV. I think one of the fellows put it in a way that you are assistant physician instead of medical assistant. So it's just playing with the word, but at the same time, that fellow was doing some of the higher function or tasks. So they can ask question or your system or some involvement, not only taking the vitals and leading the patient to the room or something minor. So if you are involved, you can highlight that in your resume that you are doing this. And also you can ask the doctors you are working with if there's any chance that you can get more involved so that you can apply to programs to become a doctor here. They understand that some of you need some recommendation letters and some involvement. So if they can get you more involved, that might be helpful to you and to them.
Okay, so this means that LOR, letter of recommendation, will be good because recently I started also volunteering at free mobile clinic. So it's like, yeah, it's sometimes, yeah, I take history exam and do this stuff. So I discuss with the doctor in charge about the diagnosis and the plan and this stuff. So this will be good. I start this research. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. No
thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Go ahead, Dr. Hina. Ash.
Hello, hi. I'm sorry,
Hello,
I was mute. So I hope that everything is good at your side. And thank you so much, Dr. Nadir, for these amazing sessions and for giving us the opportunity to communicate with each other and most importantly, to answer our questions. So my question is like recently when I see the match process and everything, so most of the people are like they're telling this is all about references. So I know the game in my country, Pakistan, it is always like if you want to do something, you have to find somebody who is like in that profession and they can vouch for you. But coming from such country and then coming to US just for observerships and to take step 3, how is that possible to make contacts and find references in just a short period of 3 or 4 months? And like introvert person like me, this is really difficult. So saying hi to someone is a big deal. And how can you communicate to someone and to have this contact thing. So can you please guide us on that thing, please? Thank you.
You're welcome. So it depends again on how your situation. So what your location where you now, if you have a visa or are you able to work? So I suggest that in the area where you live, if it's a small area or big area, to see if there are some free clinic. If there is, then maybe you can approach them. Just go to the clinic or call them. Tell them your qualification. This is I'm a medical doctor. I have this experience. I'm here. I want to volunteer with you guys. Who's a responsible person to talk to? And then you can approach them, make an interview, tell them I'm available this days or times. Then you can work with them. The other option is, as Dr. Padma mentioned, you can work as a medical assistant in one of the clinic, and then you go up. The third option is to see if you want to volunteer at some of the hospitals near you. So when you do that, you can also approach some of the physicians in the area where you want to go. If you are interested in neurology, for example, you go to see physicians in this specialty. Then you can make connection. You can ask other fellows here, how did they do it? Or you can use LinkedIn, the online. Also, you can see who can help guide you or make connection in your area. There are different ways to do it, but the important part is to take some action to help you achieve that.
Okay, one more thing, Dr. Nadir. If I'm
Sure.
staying in some state which is not very IMG friendly, as I'm staying in Virginia, so I have an impression that this is not a very IMG friendly state. So building connections over here, does that help, or I should go to other places like New York or Michigan, somewhere where more IMGs get matched?
No, you can do it here in your area. If you want to do the volunteer part, or see if they can have opportunity for shadowing or extension. But at the same time, you can approach other fellows here and see if there are other opportunities. So I know, as I mentioned, in Michigan, some will offer you maybe a 2-week period or some. You come, and then you work with them in their clinic, and then you go back, and then this might be done in different places. So you can do that instead of the whole thing if you move. If it's easier for you to move, then I will search which programs you are interested in, and then move to some nearby area to these programs where there is a residencies program, and try to connect with the programs there. You want to connect with the program, mostly the chief resident. Most of the time they are most helpful because they are in between being attending and they just finished residency, so they know what it needs to become a resident.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, go ahead, Nafisa, and then followed by Nadir.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Nadir. Salam
Alaikum
everyone.
salam.
I just would like to answer the previous follow question,
Yes.
and I just to add a comment from my own experience, so maybe I can help someone. Because like after I finished my step 1 exam, I used to spend like literally hours and days just looking for someone to help me, looking for the way that how, like from where I should start. I know how it's be very difficult for everybody to start or looking for US clinic experience. So I start by looking first by just joining those company, which is basically you pay for them and then you will get clinical experience and will give you very generic LOR. So that's what could be something, but that's something you will have to pay a lot. And your LOR is not going to be like, they're not going to be like consider it well, because definitely will be like in my situation, we was 30 students at that time. And that's only for 1 month. I can imagine like how many people receive the same LOR from the same clinic. So I start by just checking for people, for example, if you are coming from Pakistan, India, you can reach out to the community, or in my situation, I check people in the mosque, and then I ask if there is any doctor around there. So they contact me with several doctors. I went and shadowed them, and they're very helpful. That's the only way I could be able to find clinical experience near me, because when I ask clinic, they're not going to be able to give me clinical experience. And at the same time, there's certain clinic, especially if it's part of big group, they're not allowed unless you are a US student. So when I reached out to those doctor, I was able to shadow. And then one of them, he offered me a position with a very high payment. And also it was like for me, I was shocked that how it could be like international without any certificate, being able to work and being able to actually see patient and do even more and more. Besides that, some of them also contact me with some doctor inside the hospital, which was able to give me a badge and then able to go and shadow them in the hospital, which as far as I understand, that's also not going to be, you're not going to be able to do that unless you know someone inside the hospital, because according to the hospital policy, if you are graduate, you're not eligible to volunteer, or I mean to have like observership, unless the hospital open that for international. So that's another way that you can reach out to people, and how you can be able to get this clinical experience. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nafisa. Go ahead, Dr. Nadir, followed by Sarah, Trevor, and then Iman Day.
I just had a question regarding for people who are currently remote, they are not in the US, and they need remote experience. What are the other options, or are there any like opportunities for me? I'm currently in Canada, but I wouldn't be able to go to the US until next year, and I'm planning on applying for 2025. But I just wanted to know if there's anything that I could do from here, and I'm sure there are some other fellows who are in other countries who wouldn't be able to go to the US at the moment. Are there any like remote opportunities that you know of? That's my question.
I think one of the things that you can do, and they want you to do, is to seek in your area if you can volunteer. And then when, as you mentioned, when you connect with people, actually they see you, then they can refer you to the right person. So if you volunteer in a hospital or clinic, and you always try to mention to them that I want to get clinical exposure or something, I want to follow some of the doctors, they may find some of the doctors who can, you can follow them, and hopefully they will help you in your area. So while you are waiting there, you're still working, or you are trying to improve your CV and gaining some clinic experience, either in the form of the EMR or clinic or some. So you still have some opportunities there. I know in general in the US, maybe in Canada as well, the workforce in many places, they need people to work to cover some gaps. What I suggest is to see, for example, in my situation, I will ask if there are nursing homes in your area. Try to see what positions are available that you can match to. You can start with medical assistant. You can start with, sometimes they call it patient care assistant or nurse assistant, or something where you just put your foot on the door, and then from inside you can see and talk to the doctors of the medical field there. So this is one way. Thank you.
Doctor, I had another question. So if I had like a letter of recommendation from a Canadian doctor, would that be of significance when I'm applying to the US? Or does it have to be from an American doctor? So I would have to focus more on trying to connect with people in the US. I wasn't sure about how to approach it. What's the right way for it?
So you can get the letters from outside the US. So I want you to try to get as many. And then when you have the opportunity to go to the US, you can get US experience and letters. Thank you.
Sorry,
Okay,
Dr.
great.
Nada. I just want to tell Neda I'm also in Canada, so I know that the restrictions here are just more strict, but if you reach out to me in private, I can connect with you and help you navigate the clinical positions here in Canada.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Rayan. I will, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Nadir and dear fellows. So I just wanted to just give a tip, that something that I found that was helpful for me. I live here in Minnesota, and I did have a hard time, like Dr. Nafisa said, just finding a way to get into the clinical part in the US here. It was very difficult. So I did try to apply for medical assistant, but in my state, they require certification for that. So what I did was that I did a phlebotomy certificate, which did help me big time. So through that, I managed to find a job as a medical assistant. And now I'm working I have more contact with patients, and through them, I also managed to get more recommendation letters as well, which did help with this application season as well. So that's something to think about. Sometimes it's just if you're not able to get a job here in the clinical part, some places offer those certificates, like the Red Cross and some blood banks. They offer these just as they just train you, so you don't even have to pay for certifications. I however did pay for mine, but it was very quick. Within 3 weeks I was able to be nationally certified and found a job. And also free clinics, which is a very, very good opportunity that they do offer. They do allow you to shadow, and if you have any clinical experiences, because being an MD, sometimes they give you more opportunities to just interact with patients more. So mosques have those clinics. Also churches, they have those clinics, those free clinics, which could be also very, very helpful. So I hope this could help anyone as well. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. This is Iman. I also have a couple of advice for people who are looking for jobs here. So first of all, for people coming from outside of the IMGs, I mean, we can apply we can apply for the clinical assistant registry in the US without, they accept our credentials, and we get certified without fees, without nothing. So I'm gonna post a website, and you can go in and just send your credentials, and you will receive a certification for medical assistant, the registration of medical assistants. So my only advice would be, unless you're going to find look for a job within the next year, don't apply. Because it expires in a year, and renewal requires that you have been working for the past year. That's the first thing. The second thing is for people who are, I'm going to speak only about New York, for people who are living in New York, I currently work at a company called SN. I work as a clinical assistant, which basically you do like everything as a physician assistant. You work with in nursing homes or in urgent care facilities, or with cardiologists, neurologists, depends on what you apply for or what their need is. You work under doctors and you do everything that they need you to do. So you see patients, you document, you scribe, you order labs, anything, basically. And it's a paid job. It's not a great pay. It's very minimum wage pay. So if you really need the money, it's a minimum wage pay. It's like but at the end of the day, you get the experience and you can get letter of recommendations from the physicians that you work with. I'll also gonna post the company's website. So if anybody wants to apply, you can apply there. They have chances for remote jobs. You would be working as a scribe if you'd like. So that's also, it's not necessary for people in New York. You can be anywhere. They'll send you the notes that the doctor need you to write, and you basically work as a scribe. The third thing is, and I think it's the most valuable thing, is if you're in New York, you can apply, especially if you have someone who is willing to sponsor you, or if you're working with SN or any company like that, you can apply for limited physician permit, where you apply, you send your credentials and everything, and you get a license to work as a physician under supervision. It's a good pay job, and you get to say that you are working as a physician. You have the complete freedom of seeing patients, billing, and everything. So I'm going to post the website for that, but the only thing is you need an employer to sponsor you. And one more comment regarding people from outside, people who are not in America right now. I have a couple of medical directors who I spoke with, and they told me that if you manage to get an excellent letter of recommendation from your home country, that makes a huge difference. So in case you're not able to come to the US, just make sure that you have an incredible letter of recommendation. Like if you can write it yourself and have them send it, and it has to be like it says that you're more than an excellent physician. And they told me that makes a huge difference rather than having generic letter of recommendations from the US, or if you are not able to reach the US. That's it. Thank you.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, Dr. Nadir. I would like to ask something for Dr. Iman. Yes, everything she said about Aston Healthcare, the one critical thing she forget to mention that you need to have a visa or green card. Like you need to have either American passport or green card in order to be accepted in this company. Anybody coming with a visa, they're not allowed to let you be in them. So you have to be citizen in order to work in this company. Beside that, they offer certain thing that it's also good. Like it will be different than other job. Like if someone, like you're not with any family or anything, you can easily just go to New York and work with them because the title will be different. Instead of medical assistant, you will be clinical assistant. Beside that, they offer for IMGs, observership in the hospital because they are affiliated, as far as I know, 3 hospitals. Beside that, also they have every week they have CMA review, and also every 2 weeks they have tumor board review, and that's basically what also resident they do. So that's also something great to add in your CV.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nafisa, Dr. Iman. This great information. If you can share the company name or the information in the chat, that would be great. Dr. Fatma, go ahead.
Hi. Sorry, I have a lot of questions. Sorry for that. So, Dr. Iman said like there is like limited physician license or something. I wanted to know what are the requirements for this job. So I have to finish I have to be done with all my exams to apply for it, or only if I have clinical experience and I pass in my situation I passed step 1. I'm now preparing for step 2. Can still I apply for this job, or I have to be finished with all exams to apply for this, please? I don't
If
need.
I can ask, yes, you have to be ACFMG certified. You have to have you have to be ACFMG certified. You have to have someone who is going to sponsor you, like an employer, and you just file in the.
Sponsor me even if I'm U.S. citizen. Still, I need a sponsor.
I meant in a sense of because you're going to be a limited permit. Limitation means that you have to have someone who's supervising you, working under a physician. So, like in my case, my company or the doctor who I work with is going to put his name as the person that I'm going to be supervising me, and you just pay the fees, which is like $105. So that's all the requirement.
Okay, this means that first I have to find a physician or a doctor, right? Agree to supervise me. Oh, it's still this is a problem because anything need connections. My problem is connections. Everywhere I go, I think I need connections. Okay.
Where are you located, Fatma?
I located in Iowa. I'm in Iowa City, and for this time, it's hard for me to leave because I have some family issues. But yeah.
So my suggestion is to locate some physicians in your area if you are not able to move shortly in the near future. So I suggest to contact some of the physicians in your area, in the community, like Sudanese community, for example, if you are from Sudan, as one of the fellows mentioned, Pakistan or something from Pakistan. So try to approach them and see how they can how can you help them? So my approach always try to sell yourself. As I mentioned, in the clinical setting, the workforce all in the US is very strict, and like there is a shortage. So they need some help. They need physicians to help them do other jobs, as mentioned here. Like scribe or like taking the history or whatever task that will take their time. If you can do that task, it will save them time. And by doing that, they will save money and they can share with you. But the most important part is that you will have the exposure. So try to connect with some of the physicians in your area. You can approach the mosque, you can see websites of the hospitals near you, or you can talk to people around or association like the Sudanese and American Physician Association. They can direct you. If you are from Sudan, if you are from other countries, you can also see what other association or group of physicians. So there is there are some ways to solve this issue.
Yeah, thank you very much. But I did all this. Also, I applied to Saba, but actually, I can't reach them because I said I won't talk to you, but I can't reach them. Like it's only automated like reply. So I'm Sudanese, but really, I'm like I feel like I don't know from where to start. So if you don't mind, if I can email you or something, so if you can help me with this, I will appreciate it. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead, Saba.
Sorry.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nadir, for giving me this opportunity. This is my first Zoom meeting with the group, and it's really lovely to meet each one of you. And it's been really helpful what each one of you has spoken about. So I have a few questions. One of them is that I'm currently in the state of Washington, and they also have a limited physician license that is similar to New York State. and I will be eligible to apply for it in July because I need to be a resident for almost a year. And luckily, I've been connecting to different physicians here, and I did get one of the doctors to sponsor me once. At least that's what he has promised. Let's see what happens when the time comes. But my question is, he's a psychiatrist, and I'm expected once I get the license, I'm expected to work with him in his private practice, which means that I will have a lot of psychiatric patient exposure with psychiatric patients. However, my primary interest and my target for application is family medicine and internal medicine. So I wanted to ask, would that reflect badly on my application?
So in general, it shouldn't be, but some programs might look at it and have questions, and you can prepare for this question. One of them is, why did you go there if you are interested in our program or our specialty? So if you can prepare an answer to this question, that would be great. So some of the fellows here, they are interested in pediatric, for example, but this fellowship title is geriatric. So the question would be, why you are going to geriatric while you are why you're interested in pediatric, but you are doing geriatric. So if you have a good answer, I think you will be okay. So they want you to know, as I mentioned before, you are able to handle the patients communication-wise, clinical-wise, assessment and plan-wise. If you have this ability, that will save them a lot of. They don't want to get into the headache of training you in this area. The second skill, they want you to know the system. So EMR, for example. And the third thing is the whole system, the healthcare. You know how to admit patient, how to transfer patient, discharge patient, clinic, inpatient, outpatient, all this. If you have an idea when you are working, you will get the idea. So you will save them the headache of training you again in these areas. So it's going to help you. This is one thing to do. The other option is if it's easier to do 1 year psychiatry, and then you can join or you can move on to whatever area, family medicine or internal medicine. And some people do that. They go to surgery if it's easier, and they come back to internal medicine. I have a friend from India. He did family medicine. Actually, he did it for maybe 2-3 years, and then he joined our program, internal medicine. They saved him the first year, so he joined the second year, and he finished and he went to cardiology. So his intention was to go to cardiology, but he was able to find a spot for family medicine. So he didn't let go because he's still interested in cardiology. He finished the family medicine and then he came back. So if you look at it, you may say, this is waste of time. Actually, it's not, because when you get into the system, like the residency, it's easier to flip from one specialty to another. And if you do more years, you can skip, and the program can let you skip some of the years. So in fact, it's better than competing from the start, if that's an option for you. It's just something to think about, the worst case scenario for that.
Okay, thank you so much for clarifying that for me, and thank you for helping me out with that. Secondly, I would also like to ask about, like I said, I just joined. I'm relatively new to the group, and I don't really know how the whole teamwork. I don't really understand how the whole teamwork works at the moment, and who am I expected to contact in order to start working for in order to work for on a research project, And if there is like an ongoing project, whom should I get in touch with to get more information about different projects?
So I'll connect you with Amal or Alamin or Nafisa Mustafa. Maybe they can help you. You will be on the white team. So I think Dr. Asjet is a leader, but these two fellows, they can talk to you about more detail. So you will get more information. But basically, we want you to be in teams for this program to know what our goals are and how to improve. When you have an idea about a project, you can start project research with some of the fellows to make the project team members the same way and the Rayan and her team did, and then you can present whatever work you did. We have options to work on some development, like app development. So some of the fellows here are interested in working, so you can reach out to them. So
okay, thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome. So Maya, please go ahead, and followed by Manor.
Hello, Dr. Nadir. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. And Dr. Nadir, is Michigan State University offers geriatric residency?
Not residency. Geriatric is a fellowship. So what happened is you need to complete 3 years of either internal medicine or 3 years of family medicine. After finish internal medicine or family medicine, and you are interested in geriatric, you can apply to the fellowship in geriatric. It's only 1 year. Some places offer 2 years. One of them is research oriented. So here in Lansing, we have the fellowship 1 year, and MSU has connections with certain other cities. So they have different programs in one umbrella. So you can apply to all this together if you are interested after the finishing the internal medicine or family medicine. In other states, I think Nevada and other states, they have geriatric fellowship, and they can accept you without going through the internal medicine or family medicine route. They can accept you as a foreign medical graduate, but they want you to be a US citizen or have a green card. They want you to have some experience, at least 1 year or something, clinical experience recent. They want you to pass step 3. And the ACFG, I think the steps, you pass all the steps. So if you are interested in this, while Asafi, he's from batch 1, he did that, and now he is going to residency. So he did it backwards. So he joined the fellowship first. Now he is starting his residency. So he is very helpful. If you want, reach out to me, and I'll forward you his information.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Nadir. Yes, I cleared all steps, and I'm ECFMG certified, and I'm US citizen too. I'm very interested. Like one time I contacted Dr. Weil, but like maybe he was busy. So yeah, I will connect with you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. Thanks.
Hi, Dr. Nadir. Hello, everyone.
Go ahead.
Good morning or afternoon. Thank you so much for all the amazing information that we've gotten in the past in this meeting. I wasn't expecting to get so much helpful information. I think it's going to help everyone in the meeting, IMGs, green card holders, passport holders. I actually have a question, Dr. Nadir. You mentioned that there was someone you know who went from psych to another residency. That's very interesting to me because I know I am an IMG and I am on a visa. So I know that a lot of people who are coming as IMGs don't have the clinical experience in the US that they might want to get into, one of the other specialties that are not very accessible to IMGs. So, the ones that are more accessible to us are usually IM, FM, Psych, Patho, along those lines. So I'm actually very interested to know how people can go about this. They get into one of the more accessible ones and maybe work towards applying after a year to some of the ones that they might need research for, other things, because it's important to get your foot in the door. If you keep not being in residency, then it just gets harder. The gap gets more. So that's the question that I actually am really interested in. How to like switch basically after a year or a few years.
So while you are doing, let's say you've been accepted to the psychiatry.
Right.
While you are in psychiatry, if you feel that it's not for you and you're still interested in, let's say, internal medicine, then while you are doing that, you will have some free time during this moment. I think you should seek out to either make connection with programs, as I mentioned, chief residents, they will be more available. You can make connection with current residents, with some people in some of the programs that you are interested in. Or in my case, I did 1 year. And during that year, actually the last few months, I must produce emails to all programs in internal medicine. So you can do that as an option. But you will find some people and some open positions, and you will be the one on top of the list if they want to fill the gap, because you're already in the system. Right. Yeah, and they already know that you did well with the program that you are doing, instead of someone fresh.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nadir. The thing that I've heard from some people, I don't know how accurate it is, but they say that when you're on a visa, you have a limited number of years that are being sponsored by the government, and that can cause some issues if you want to, like, you only get a certain amount of years to work under that. So is that a limitation that people with visas have?
So that might be yeah. So if you need the visa, then you need the program to sponsor you. Then you follow whatever the program count the number of years.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nadir. Thank you so much, everyone.
You're welcome. No problem. Go ahead, Dr. Rayan.
Yeah, thank you everyone for the valuable information. I also just wanted to just let everyone know, besides the clinical experience, you guys can also on the app. One thing that I did last year is the app that you have to connect. There's professional certificates that you can gain just from like Harvard or from Berkeley University. If you go on the application and click the courses, if you guys do them, some of them are free, some of them are only like $100, but it can be also added to your CV. So I did a professional certificate in leadership and critical thinking. So that can also be a benefit later on when you're applying for residency, in the sense that this is a certificate that I gained from Harvard University that's going to help me in team working or in the round. I just wanted to add that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rayan. And actually, if you go to the app right now, there are some options. So one of them is Cleveland Clinic. So this is a review course, but it may help you do two things. If it's only $100 for students or fellows like you, and it helps you clinical wise to be accustomed to the system here, or the medical knowledge here. You already passed step 1, step 3, or step 2, but this is like focusing on preparing you for the board. So if you have some idea to join something like that, that might be very helpful in your CV. And as Dr. Rayan mentioned, if you join some of the courses in Harvard, Yale, or some of the big ones, you put it in your resume, that might also be helpful. Thanks. Sarah, go ahead.
Hello, Dr. Nadir.
Hello.
My question is a bit different. If you have like a person have a choice between doing the internship or spending this 1 year in a research job in US, what do you think would be better in a point of view of a CV? Like you have a choice to do the internship or to just find a job, a volunteer work in US for a research job, or find another job in US at the time being of this 1 year. Which would be more helpful in the CV?
So I'm thinking about it from the program director or the program point of view. So they look at you, they want you to do certain tasks. They want you to join the program, see the patients, make sure you are not causing problems. And by the end of the 3 years, you pass your board exams. So the first of all, they want you to be a good doctor. So clinical experience is number one. So if you have any opportunity to do that in the US, that would be priority for them to know that you know the system. You're not gonna cause problem learning the system or the clinical part of it. When they look at your application, they look at that. And then they look at other qualities of you to compare you to the other applicants in your group. So they will see if you did the research work and the other applicant didn't, then you are better than the others. If you have, as Akhila mentioned, for example, or other fellows mentioned, the courses, if you are doing some online courses to keep up, it's better than other applicants that they are not doing this. So all this will be added value in your CV, but they look at you are there for the clinical part. Are you able to do that? If you show them that you already did something like internship or whatever internship, you will save yourself a huge step for them to look at you instead of looking at other applicants. Then the other parts will be like comparing you to others, if that makes sense. The best thing is to do all together if you can. So some suggestion is to do the internship if you have time in the weekend and work with other groups doing volunteer work. In fellowship, you are doing a research part, so you will combine the three things. And if you are doing some online courses, then you are acquiring some knowledge pertaining to the programs that you are going to. In my case, in the past, I showed them in my CV that I attended CME courses. It doesn't have a heavy weight on your CV, but at least it tells them that you are trying to be up to date.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Dr. Nadir, I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, my name, I'm a green card holder. I'm living in Texas. I have the clinical experience in internal medicine, family medicine, and psychiatric. In addition to that, I joined the University of Houston as an assistant professor of research. And my question is, I have the experience in three sections: the psychiatric, internal medicine, and family medicine. Will it be a negative points to me, or do I have a chance to the match?
No, I don't think it's a negative. I think if you have the clinical experience in any of them or all of them, that would be very helpful for you. And again, it depends when you apply and you have the interview. The question will be asked to you is, you did all this, how come you are applying to us? Let's say we are psychiatry. Will be asked, you did some family medicine work or some internal medicine work. Why did you do that? So your answer is supposed to be like convincing them that you are really truly interested in their program and you want to go advance and be in their area or their field. If they get convinced, then you'll be good to go or be accepted. But if you are changing from one to another and you are not able to tell them that you're doing this and this and this because they don't have an idea of what you want to do, that's not good for them. They will look at you as like you are not a loss. So you need to figure your way. So the best way is to prepare a good answer to convince them.
Okay.
So they know some people will try certain things and change their mind. Actually, in my fellowship in geriatric, two of the previous fellows in my class or my fellowship program, one of them is GI specialist for 30 years or more here in Lansing, and he changed his route of his to join the fellowship, and he finished it and we became faculty members together. So when I asked him what happened, he's like, I wanted to take care of my parents who are elderly. So I thought maybe the best way is to learn about geriatrics so that I can handle them or can treat them or can manage them. So for him, he switched, even he was specialist for so many years. And the other case was a nephrologist. So also he changed and he did geriatric fellowship. So for you to show them that you are doing this and this and this, number one, you will answer them by saying, I want to have the exposure to the system or the clinical part. And at the same time, I'm interested in this, whatever you are interested in, and focus on the long-term goals for you so that they can match their goals, and hopefully you will match there.
Dr. Nadir, I have experience. My mom is the Lewy body dementia, and because of that, I am interested in psychiatry. But one of my friends say that the psychiatric is a part of internal medicine. Is it true?
Yes. So psychiatry, neurology, and some other subspecialty, they want you to do 1 year of internship of internal medicine. And I did that. When I came here, I was interested in neurology as well. So I did a lot of research work in neurology. And in the area where I was working, I had connection, and one of the program directors at that time, he accepted me to neurology second year. But he asked me to find a place where I can do my first year in the internship. So I applied and I got accepted to a different state. Like I went from New York to do my first year in New Jersey. So in my situation, it was a little bit complicated, but the idea is the same. You got accepted to the subspecialty, psychiatry or internal medicine or neurology. They want you to do 1 year of internal medicine, basically. So if you already have background of internal medicine, family medicine, you know the basics, then at least you will be at a good point for them. When you do your first year, you will be good to go for psychiatry. In my situation, I did my first year there, and I'm supposed to go back to New York for neurology, but the spot was already taken. So I had to find somewhere to do my second year. So this is why I did approach to all programs in internal medicine, and I got accepted here in Michigan.
Other question,
Yes.
Dr. Nadir, if they ask the answer from me, why are you going, why are you interested in the internal medicine, but you follow the family medicine, the psychiatric also. Is it fine to include my personal issues, not issues, the personal, like issues like my mom issues, to include in that answer?
Oh, sure. Anything convincing. So the most important part in the interview is honesty. So if you are convinced that, let's say, you are truly interested in psychiatry, but the situation here in the US let you to do some work in internal medicine, and sometimes you have different opportunities to do family medicine. So you put your foot in some different places, but your true passion, your idea is psychiatry. So if this comes true to them that you're really interested and you honestly want to go to psychiatry, then the details of why you did this or that will be irrelevant to them. You can explain it by any reason. You want to survive, you want to pay for your bills, you want to whatever. For them, it doesn't matter as long as you show them that you truly, honestly interested in, let's say, psychiatry. And
Okay,
same way,
thank you.
if there's any other specialty that you are interested in. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your great help.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Sure. Go ahead, Lamia.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Nadir. Actually, I have a similar question, but if I apply to the same hospital, like family and internal medicine, would that be a negative thing? And would the program know about that?
So for those who are interested in both or want to apply to both, you come to the right place. So what I suggest is to tell them that you are interested in older patients. Maybe it is true, maybe not. But if you are going to any specialty, you're going to see a lot of older patients, as we see more older people here in the US are growing number of like population-wise. So in your practice in the future, you're going to see a lot of older patients. So if you choose to go to internal medicine, you will see a lot of older patients. Or if you go to family medicine, you will do the same. Although in family medicine, you can say, I want to see like PED or OBGYN, something like that. But in general, to answer both of them with the same answer, I think you can just focus on geriatric. So if you show them that you are interested in going to their programs, and then after you finish the 3 years, you will do 1 year of geriatric medicine, so that you will be specialized in dealing with older patients, I think you will be convincing to both programs equally.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome. Dr. Sarah, go ahead.
Sorry, but I guess you did not. I did not clarify my question earlier. I said that I'm not asking about the internship as an exchange or US clinical experience. I am done with my MBBS and I didn't do the imtiaz in Sudan due to the issues happening, and till now we weren't distributed in the imtiaz. So I'm thinking of doing it in Egypt. But my question, I know that there is a pathway, which is pathway 6, that I can apply through without doing an internship. So the actual question is, should I use this 1 year instead of doing the internship in Egypt to use it in the US by looking for US clinical experiences and research jobs? Or it's better to do my internship first and then go ahead and think further?
Again, my preference is to do the 1 year clinical and then come to whatever next step. That's might be the option. The second thing, I'm not sure about the steps for the 6th pathway, the details of that. Maybe you can clarify things. Can you tell me what you know about that?
Yes, there is a pathway in which that you can apply without having permanent. Like there is pathway 1 and pathway 6. Pathway 1 is when you have your permanent and you work as a doctor in your own country, and then you apply through it. And there is pathway 6 where you're not you don't have your permanent. You still didn't do your imtiaz or your internship in your own country or somewhere else. And this is, you can just go and apply through that.
So your question is which one fit or good for you?
No. My question is, if I don't have an internship? I graduated from med school, and until now I did not do my imtiaz. Is it better to wait till I do my imtiaz somewhere else, or use this 1 year that I'm gonna go and do the imtiaz in the United States, trying to approach other things such as US clinical experiences or doing a research job or whatsoever?
So if you have, let's say you have a visa to come to US, or you have US citizenship, or if you have the opportunity to come here, I think it's better to come here and then do whatever you can, the same answer we gave. So you want to do externship or internship or whatever, research, volunteer here within the US system. For them, it's better, and for you, it's better to look at that. You know the system, you have more experience with doctors, you can find some recommendation letters from here. So a lot of information can be obtained with your CV better here while doing this here. If you did it there, the only reason I suggest that if you have problem getting to the US, if you have visa issue or you have to stay there for family reason or whatever, then I'll say that's an option for you. But if you can come to the US, if you have the opportunity to find volunteer work or clinical work here, recommendation letters and research, then it's better to do it here, if that's a clear answer for you.
Yes, very clear. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Dr. Iman.
If I can give, regarding her question also, if I can give, like from my personal experience, I actually did not do my imtiaz in Sudan, and I came here without doing any clinical experience in Sudan. What I would advise, it might be a little bit different from your advice, but I'm just going to give my experience. Every program that I interviewed for this last year, their main question was, what was your clinical experience? What have you been doing? The fact that she's a young graduate or like a very fresh graduate is definitely a big plus. But like one of the last two programs that I interviewed in, they asked me like few questions, and most of them is like, what were you doing clinically? And I know from a person from that program that they told me that they accepted someone else because she was working at her home country as a family. I applied for family as a family specialty. So having experience, clinical experience, I think they value it more. So what I would advise is for her to start her imtiaz, unless she has a definite, like she's 100% going to start working here, or she already, before coming here, she already have the positions basically. So she wouldn't like, she already reached out to people, she already secured whether like it was research or it was some sort of clinical experience. Other than that, to start her imtiaz back home or like in Egypt, and to start to work on research and publishing. So she will have the research and publishing, and she's now doing this fellowship. So all of these will add up. And by the end, or by if and it also depends on when she's going to apply. She's going to apply for the upcoming season. If she can come and she can do a month or so of US clinical experience or observership or whatever, it will add to her CV. But she would be able to say, I am working as at a clinical job in an imtiaz, and she gets very good letter of recommendations from back home or from Egypt, and then she'll say, oh, I'm doing also an observership or managed to do an observership here. But other than this, coming here and like wasting her time searching and maybe be able to find some things, not be able to find something, as like we heard, lots of people find a lot of problems finding places to start. So I would rather her starting there and then keep reaching out. And once you secure a position, then move on to the US. That's my advice. I'm not really sure if it's correct, but this is just from experience.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Dr. Iman. So, any other questions or? So
Yes,
we have, yes, go
hello,
ahead,
Dr.
Dr. Maya.
Nadir. Yes, Dr. Nadir, I have one question from Dr. Iman and Dr. Nafisa. They already mentioned for limited license permit for at New York. So do we need back home residency for that?
You just need an experience. What they would ask you is in the application, they would give you a paper where you have to write everything that you have been doing since graduation. Having clinical experience in it is definitely important because they want to know that you can actually treat people. But it's not specified in like how much or like the duration or anything. They just want you to have some clinical experience and you being USFMG certified, and that's it.
Yes, Dr. Iman, I have like experience from my back home, and actually I started residency, but I moved here, so I left in middle of that. So is that okay? I provide like my other certification that I have.
Yes, they would ask you to fill in what have you been doing since graduation, including off time, including vacation time, including time that you haven't been working or anything. So they would so you'd have to write anything that you have been doing since graduation, and it would be mostly in your case work from back home, and then you just write relocating to the US. Doing my USMLE, like let's give a year for doing my USMLE. Whatever gap you have, you just try to fill it up until now.
Yeah, thank you so much. And there's any particular hospital in which I apply?
No, it's not. It's not a hospital. It's you have to find someone who is willing to sponsor you, in a sense of like a doctor that you will work under. This can be done whether through like your own personal connections, reaching out to physicians, start to volunteer at some places. Just find someone who is going to sign for you that you can work under them, and then you just send your application.
So first I get like this permit, and then I have to reach out, like
No.
one of the
When you apply, you have to have someone. Part of the application, part of the form is an employer who is willing to sign for you. So part of the application in itself is you already have someone who's going to sponsor you.
Thank you so much. And do you know any other state like offer this same like limited license permit beside New York?
I just learned that Washington offers it. Washington DC offers it. Washington, and also I think New Jersey also offer it.
Thank you so much.
But I'm not
Dr.
really
Iman.
sure about the rest.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate.
Hi, if I would like ask, I don't know, Iman, if that's the company that's
maybe, yeah, maybe if we can you hold on? So Iman, if she can talk to us maybe next week in details about the whole thing, because it's interesting and I think many questions will be there. Maybe you can just prepare you and other some short. I want Akhila to share her experience, maybe followed by Dr. Rufaida, if you have comment or questions.
No problem, sure.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing good. Thank you, Dr. Nadir, for this wonderful opportunity. Well, I am glad that I'm part of the Telegeriatric Research Fellowship. All thanks to Dr. Nadir that I could match this season into my, my first choice, which is at SUNY Downstate, New York University. Well, frankly speaking, this research fellowship has helped me, work in collaboration. It taught me what is how to be a team leader, how to work in a team, and come up with research topics. Being a part of this team, we could work on few research projects, as well as I was part of one of the team, which was led by Dr. Amal, I'm not wrong. We created the INR app, which was so interesting. So I would say, hello?
Stereo make chicken?
Yeah. So I would say this is wonderful opportunity for everyone. You could reach out to Dr. Nadir with the ideas that you have, or you could reach out to your team leader. So, and you could lead your own team once you come up with an idea. And this is definitely going to help you, because during the interviews, if you are an old graduate, or if you finish all your steps and you're done with everything that you're supposed to be done, and you need to show something new in your CV, that has to be the research work for the foreign medical graduates or international medical graduates like us. And you come up with some spectacular ideas, and your research, you can present it in the conference, and the conference that you attend will help you gain connections. Connections does matter. People should notice you. People will notice your work. That is how you get more. That is how you can increase the number of interviews that you can get. So apart from the US clinical experience, definitely US clinical experience is important, because they want you to know the system, and they want you to be active clinically. So that is one thing. And the other thing that you can update yourself clinically a little, no matter what, is through research work. So yeah, so far this is my experience, and I would say, if you have done a good amount of work, you've spent good amount of time in United States. If you want to spend time in United States, either US clinical experience or US based research work are the only two opportunities that you could stay here and spend more time and get accustomed to the system and gain more connections, and such that people could notice your work and you could reach out to them, which will increase the number of interviews that you get overall. So I would say make use of this opportunity as much as you can. And all thanks to Dr. Nadir. He has been a wonderful guide and a good support. And of course, to all my other team members who has helped me finish up my projects and for being so supportive. So thank you so much, Dr. Nadir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Akhila. Can you just, maybe you mentioned it, I was on the phone. Can you go over what you did in some details? Like you went to, I think, 3 areas or 3 places. Can you just share with us?
Yeah, sure. You mean the work that we have done during this 1 year?
No, you went to Texas, you went to Minnesota.
Did some. Okay, so coming to my clinical experience, like clerkships or the externships that I've done, I've worked in New York. I've done my rotations in New York. I've done my rotations in Texas. Following which, I was remotely working as a research fellow with Michigan State University, Dr. Nadir. Apart from that, I had an opportunity to apply to Mayo. I reached out to doctors at Mayo. So I gained an opportunity to be a part of Mayo Clinic, and I started my research work at Mayo during October 2022. And through this opportunity, I try to collaborate with the doctors in different specialties of my interest. So yeah, as an IMG, and because of the COVID, I didn't get much opportunities initially for pursuing the clerkships. But following the, as the COVID regulations or travel restrictions has faded away, I could travel to US and try to find some rotations, which were all in internal based medicine, IM based rotations. But I think Mayo has given me a broad opportunity, a broad view. So I could reach out to doctors at Mayo and I've done a lot of collaborative works in field in the Department of Gastroenterology, Cardiology, Rheumatology, and General Surgery. So I would say once you get the opportunity, once you get into the system, I think you can just create your own opportunities. But getting that one right opportunity is the key. And for that, I know it is hard. Like you have to reach out to hundreds of people, hundreds and hundreds of emails, and you never know, one of them out of 300 or 400 emails that you send out to the people, one of them would respond, and that one response is key for your ultimate goal. So I would say just this is going to be exhausting, but never give up. Perseverance is the key for what for success. No matter, everybody's journey is different, so you would face different problems compared to me or whatever it is, but at the end, perseverance is the key. So just work hard and try to be patient. You will, at the end, with that patience and perseverance, you will reach your end goal. So don't be disappointed. Reach out to people, reach out to people, reach out to people. That's the key. Because we coming from a different country, you just have to sell yourself. We have to sell ourselves way better than the other people who are from the same place, So to be that outstanding person, you need to talk to people. You need to, build connections. And that is how you'll know what to do, what not to do. And there is no hard, fast rule. Different things work for different people. So just figure out your thing. If you are a fresh graduate, try to finish your steps, try to get good scores, because right now everybody are, I just hear everybody getting 260s, 270s. So that's the minimum score. 260s and 250s are minimum score as of now within the past 2 years or so. So if you didn't finish your exams, I would say concentrate on your steps, try to get good scores, because that is going to help you a lot. And if you finish your steps, don't worry, you don't have to worry that, okay, I didn't get good scores. It's fine. You have other things to compensate for it. Try to get more US clinical experience. Try to do more research work, compensate, Once you have a minus point, try to compensate it with the other things. So where there's a will, there's a way. So you can definitely figure out a way that works for you. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Akhila, for sharing all your wisdom, and thanks. I know some of you matched this year, so congratulations to all of you. And for the rest, I wish you all the best. So just as Akhila mentioned, try to make connections, try to approach other people, try to sell yourself, try to see what they need, and try to approach them as you are filling their needs, and then they will help you later. Mayo Clinic, they have 3 at least campuses, one in Minnesota, one in Florida, and one in Texas. There are other academic institutions in New York area or other places that you can approach, and then you can find some gaps there. They need someone to help. In my situation, when I started here in the US, the first thing I did when I was sitting for the steps and trying to get connection, I was in Boston. So I tried to, again, I was interested in neurology. So I collected all the emails for the neurology attendings at Mass General Hospital. And I sent them, hey, this is my thing. I'm doing these steps, and I did this, and I'm interested in joining your team to do some research work or something like that. So one of them accepted me as a volunteer. So I wasn't getting paid for that position, but I did the work. And as Akhila mentioned, you are inside the system, so you will have people who can answer your question or open the doors for you to connect with other people. It's hard from outside, but as soon as you get inside the system, now you know how to approach others. You will have access to emails of others or connections. You can talk to them in certain places, cafeteria or something. So if you can get into the academic institutions. That might be a better option. The other one is to see virtual opportunities, as mentioned. So, Dr. Iman, if you are with us, can you, maybe you and some of the other fellows, next week, maybe 10-15 minutes, discuss or present to us the whole steps for the opportunities that you mentioned. So from the start, the forms that they need to fill, the interview process, the opportunities, and so forth. So if you can present that, that might be action.
Sure, I will.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. I actually have kind of similar situation to Sarah. I graduated from Ahfad the previous year too, 2022. But actually for the past almost 4 years, I joined a neurology clinic. That's a charity clinic run by one of the neurologists in Sudan, that's Professor Bashar. So I have been going like every single Friday to this clinic, and in which like I've been in contact with patients. I got to sometimes after I graduated to see some patients myself, and I got also involved in researches because it's a joint neurology group, neurology research group and charity clinic. So I got to have some publications in that group. And I already did my step 1, and I'm planning to sit for my step 2 the next month, within the coming months. And I'm hoping to apply for the coming match, 2024 match. I also applied for a research position at the Louisville University. And today my visa invitation was shipped, so I'm hoping to to go for the interview and get the visa. So is my situation different? I mean, regarding the clinical, looking at me not doing the internship and everything, is it different, or is it going to be still a problem for me that I didn't do the MTS? Thank you very much. I'm sorry, to add more also, the pathway 6, it's an SFMG pathway in which there is kind of like a mini exam or a mini assessment for those who didn't do the MTS that actually makes you eligible in order to be able to apply for the match. So I'm also planning to go through the pathway 6.
So I think the if you have the internship or MTS will help you. If you don't have it, I don't think it's a negative by itself. If you show them that you are, as you are doing like the weekend, the volunteer, you are seeing patients. If you are here in the US, you can do the pathway 6, and I have some applicants who found it with me, and they want, I think they want you to certify that they saw a number of patients, let's say 2 cases per physician. So they will follow me, and then I sign them to see 2 patients. They will take the history exam and present the case for me with the plan and so forth. So I will write them that, yeah, they did this, and then I will evaluate them as far as their job, how did they do, basically. And then they get this report from, I think, 5 physicians. So the total is 10 or something like that. Don't quote me with the numbers. But they know how to run the system here in the US. So excellent. If you can get the pathway 6, I think that might be an option. Anyone else wants to answer the question?
Hi, Dr. Nadir. I would like to answer this question. Yes, definitely for any fresh grad, if you come to US, especially if you finish step 1 and CK, or you're about to finish CK, it's better to be done with your pathway 6, or otherwise you're not going to be eligible to apply for the match. So you need pathway 6 to get the certificate so you can be eligible in order to get interviews. For fresh grad, they don't really care about imtiaz, as they're, like you are a fresh grad. So you're going to start your training as an intern, just similar to American grad. But for people like us, like for example me, old grad, what I'll be doing all that time. So I need a proof of like imtiaz or proof of residency outside US in order to be, be clinically active. Because basically for people more than 5 years, if you work in a clinic or any sort of externship, you basically will be stuck in by just taking history. Yes, definitely will be active, definitely will have new cases, but you're not moving forward with your career. So that's the problem for them. But that's why you can cover it with other things like teaching, like research, finishing, of course, is step 3. But for fresh grad, step like imtiaz is not gonna get you anywhere. It's not gonna do anything to you, and it's not. If you do it, like if you can come to US, do some clinical experience, do pathway 6, and afterward you can go back and start your imtiaz, that will be definitely nice. But that imtiaz basically just for old grad. So it can help you in the future. For example, if you would like to do the reverse pathway, which is doing the fellowship before the residency. And last thing that I would like to add, that there is Medical Reserve Corps, MRC. If you can check, if you are in US, you can check your state. Those working with public health department, as well as emergency response service team. So that's also, we can give you like, for example, PLS classes for free, and a lot of courses, a lot of training. You'll be involved for mobile clinic, any sort of, for example, disaster or emergency happening in your state. They will be prepared. You'll be prepared for that. It's very interesting volunteer opportunity. Some of my interviewer, he only asked me about this opportunity, which will be great to be added in your CV. Thank you, Dr. Nadir.
Thank you, Dr. Nadir and Dr. Nafisa.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Dr. Nawad.
I was about to give a little bit of advice to the previous speaker who was talking about pathway 6. So for pathway 6 through ECFMG, probably I will try to present it maybe next week, but to give you a brief idea, you need 3 clinicians who's going to assess you on 2 different clinical bases. And the requirement for the physician is, first, they have to be practicing medicine for greater than 5 years. And secondly, they specifically ask you that they are not your relative or your immediate superiors or co-workers, so that they will not be biased. Anyway, I will prepare probably 4, 5, or 6 slides, which would be brief summary of what to do, what not to do in next week, so that people who are on all graduates and like me, who could not get their medical school performance evaluation or medical transcript for different reasons, I will try to kind of prepare a small presentation, so it will be brief and easy to understand. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's going to be very helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Any other questions or comments? Akhila, you mentioned something on the chat. Can you explain that? Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Nadir. So everybody are asking if, what to do, what not to do. So if it's a fresh graduate, recently graduated, I would say, concentrate on your steps, do very good with your steps, and simultaneously, like, in US, like most of the US grads, they give their step 1 when they're in their med school. After they finish their second year of the med school, or by the time they finish the second year, they're done with the step 1. And they give their step 2 when they're in the final year, 4th year or so. But for us, being IMGs, like we finish, like we almost graduate, and then we start our step preparation. So we need to be, we kind of have to do multitasking. Like, when after you're done with your full step 1 prep, and when you're ready to give your step 1, or after you finish your step 1, that is when most of the, you can apply to most of the university programs or so for the observership or clerkships. So finish your step 1, do really good in your step 1, finish your step 1, and with that score, try applying to the programs, any of the university program or any residency program that takes the IMG. Preparing for your step 2, simultaneously finish up 1 or 2 rotations. Like, at least US clinical experience is very, very important, and you need to have 4 letters of recommendation. And it's very advisable if you have 6 months of US clinical experience. I know it's hard. It's not easy. Like, studying simultaneously, doing the rotation, it's going to be hard, but you have to do it. You have to figure a way to do it. And if you can do that way, that's gonna really, really help you, and it will increase your chances of matching. The thing is, you might end up getting interviews, but when they want to rank you, they're gonna take few things into their perspective, few things into consideration, like how much of US clinical experience you have, what kind of LORs you have, and do you have any research work is important, but it's not the most important, I would say. They would really, really consider it if you are especially, if you're a young or a recent graduate and you're still doing research work, that is much appreciated. And the research work is more helpful for old medical graduates to fill in the gap, to say that you are in the system and you're being clinically active, you're getting up to date with your clinical knowledge. So research is definitely important, but I wouldn't say it's the priority. I would say US clinical experience is the most prioritized thing, following which, of course, your scores, following which the US clinical experience, and then comes the research. So first, finish up the first 2 tasks, I would say scores and US clinical experience, followed by concentrate on the research work when you have time. Like, during your interview season, just don't stay idle, do some research work, or continue your observerships. This is something that you could do. So before you apply, get your LORs, finish up your steps, and then concentrate on your research. So this is my advice to anybody who's, trying to apply or who wants some advice on when to do and what to do. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. It's great. Thanks for sharing. And anyone else who wants to add any comments or any questions?
Hi, Dr. Nadir. I have
Yes, great.
some questions. Hi, everyone. Thanks for every important details that you guys, the message that you guys passed on. So I have specific questions about the Cleveland Clinic opportunities that was posted on the main web. So are they courses or are they, I was looking into them, I couldn't figure out how to apply, register, or as you say, there are short courses costing like $100 in each. What I see is 100.
So basically,
1,000.
yeah, basically it's a review board questions or course, a few days concentrated lectures. They may go over some questions, some highlights. They prepare most of the residents to take the board exam to specialize in, let's say, internal medicine. So I found it useful as far as for me, I want to take the board exam every 10 years. So I did it more than 10 years ago. So I need to redo it again for attendings in internal medicine. And this goes also for subspecialty. Like if you are a cardiologist, you need to do the board exam in cardiology every few years. So there are some courses like that. What I thought maybe I share with you is this opportunity might be a good option for you as long as it's less expensive. If you have the time, you have the money, go to their website and see what the registration process and what exactly required there, and tell them that you graduate from you see you information are in between. Here, student, because you didn't go from higher system, like you didn't start your residency yet. So you are equal to a medical student in the level where they look at you. In, let's say, outside, if you are in Saudi Arabia or in your case, for example, Ethiopia or Sudan, then if you are attending there, you will tell them, I'm attending in my country. I learn more about that. The only difference between the way you say it or you want to approach them is the price tag. So when you tell them I'm still at the level of student or fellow, you will be paying $100. If you go for the training, let's say you are resident or you are attending, then you will pay the 1,100, I think, something like that. So you will pay a lot compared to the status like as a student. The benefit of that is that you will get up to date as much as whatever topics they will cover. And at the same time, you can put that in your CV that you went to the board review courses. And this will help you when the program directors or the faculty review your application. They'll say, oh, this person is trying to get ready for the next hustle, next big step, the board exam, because they want you to do the job as a resident, but at the end of the day, they want you to finish the program and pass the board exam or the board exam, yes. So if you are preparing for that from now, that you are telling them, hey, I know what I'm doing, and if I join your program, I will be a good candidate to pass the exam from first time. So it will be good for the program, because sometimes some programs, they will rank themselves by how many residents pass the board exam from first time, something like that. So it's quality for them. It's just an opportunity for you guys, if you have the time, you have the money, and you have the energy to join.
Thank you very much. But I thought it was for the June 12 to 16 annual live presentation. I thought it was for the link was for that. That's why I asked, actually. It did not take me right to the courses. It's because of that. And thank you very much, Dr. Nadir.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Dr. Samia. Samia.
Hello, Dr. Nadir. Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to ask Dr. Nafisa. She mentioned something about MRC volunteer. If she can give us more detail about that. Thank you, Dr. Nafisa.
Yes, hi. Yeah. Definitely, if you guys, Dr. Nadir would like me to go over it now or for the next week. But briefly, it's just basically it's a public health department. It's kind of working with the police department as well as the fire department, providing several people with volunteer work, medical, post-medical, and non-medical. And that's basically for emergency response team. I volunteer for them for 3 years. I received several courses with them, including like PLS every time they renew it every year for us. Also like how to stop the bleed, how to interact in case of emergency or disaster. You will be having a card with them. So it will be like they call you in case of emergency. Until now, it didn't happen. So the only thing is, sounds good. So the only thing is like, for example, during the COVID, we was able to provide vaccine for all of the state, or actually the county, in a very like short time. And you will be like, for example, let's say there is a marathon or any kind of social event that's happening in the county. So you will be volunteering with doctors. So that's another way to connect with the doctor around you, because there's a lot of doctors will be also volunteer with them. So we will do like certain mobile clinic to cover the marathon, for example. So that's it. And there's a lot of opportunity. Also, there is providing certain job opportunity for the public health department. If you also would like to, like to secure a job with them.
Thank you very much. That was very helpful.
You
I
can just
appreciate it.
that's different from state to state, but definitely they have the same material.
Okay, thank you so much. I am just checking their website. Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Nafisa, and thanks for the question. And I want to just add one more thing. Nafisa just highlighted. In the summertime, if you are in the US, most of the cities or there are some activities. I just mentioned as an example, the Alzheimer Association in July, August area, and they have each week they will go to one city. They will have their walk to end Alzheimer. So if you go to their website, you can find when they will be having their walk in your area. Sometimes they have other activities similar, other organizations. So most of these work or activities will be covered or assisted by the police to cover the safety in the area. So my approach will be in your area, approach the police department and ask them, I want to volunteer in the summer or whatever time you are available, and see what activities they have in plan or in the calendar, and see whatever available for you. It's gonna be half a day, for example. You're gonna go in the morning until noon, and that will be good in your resume that you join or you volunteer for this whatever activity. And you can do as many as you can. Mostly it will be on weekend, so I don't think it will affect you much if you are working. So this is just another.
The MRC website also, Dr. Nadir, they include, they have also the to stop Alzheimer. That's also part from them.
That's good. Excellent. Thank you.
And I just would like to add to the summer thing that also hospital, they open for public, for volunteer when you apply to them in the summertime. You don't have to mention that you're a doctor, just apply to them and go try to find something that have direct interaction with patient. There is some volunteer, for example, in the shop, in the gift shop and stuff like that, but there is some of them you volunteer either with orthopedic, with surgeon, or there is some direct interaction with patient. So when you get the opportunity and the volunteer, at that time, make a good connection and be very nice with nurses. So that way they connect you with a doctor, and that's a very nice way to get shadowing in the hospital without asking the hospital to provide you shadowing, because you will be eligible to go inside the hospital. So in the doctor, if you come and ask I would like to observe you during the rounds and stuff like that, he will be more than happy to give you this.
Hey, good afternoon, Dr. Nadir. Good afternoon, everyone. So I have a question. Actually, I have a Master of Public Health and Epidemiology from University of North Florida, and also I have a Global Health Certificate from also University of North Florida. And I have some experience in public health from overseas and also from here through my work in health department, and also through my work on different programs like overdose and stuff like that with the CDC initiatives. So I just want to know how far this would strengthen my application. Thank you.
Anyone wants to answer? I will follow that.
Could you please repeat your question again? I just that you have the master in public health.
Yes, I do have a master on public health and certificate in global health from University of North Florida. And also I have like some experience in public health from overseas, like through my work in Sudan and also from here. Like I have experience and work with in research and also with some program with CDC initiatives. So I just want to know like how far this would strengthening my application for residency. Like, is it like how far this could be a good point in my application? Thank you.
There's some of some people that I know for old grads in particular. If you have a master degree, that's something great because it kind of like some program consider it as you being like fresh grad when you have like a recent master degree. So that's definitely something gonna be great add to your CV because most people they will have only clinical experience, but you actually adding another thing. So that's in my opinion. If somebody else would like to give input in this, Dr. Nadir, he kind of step a little bit. So if somebody else would like to give us some input in that.
Yes, I just want to add something like, I'm so sorry for interrupting, but because actually my experience in public health, to be honest, it's more than my experience in clinical medicine. So I'm planning to do like clinical experience here, but I just want to know like if this gonna affect my application or not.
I have someone, I know someone actually she matched last year. She also she have the same thing. She didn't have any recent clinical experience, I think, since her internal medicine residency. But after that, she worked in public health. But she got a lot of interviews, and she got to match in internal medicine. If you can contact, I will send you my contact number. I will try to connect you with her because she was having the same situation since she she matched internal medicine with basically public health profile.
Oh, yeah, this would be great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I can add something just hi everyone, this is Osama. I kept working with Virginia Department of Health since 2020, and I got two of family medicine interviews. They asked me about my public health work. I don't have any degree in public health, but I was working with the Department of Health, the public health section in COVID-19 surveillance and investigation. And the two interviews, they asked me about my experience with public health and COVID-19 experience, if that could help.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Yes, a lot of people actually mentioning that. That's a very great and see a lot of old grad now they going toward getting some master degree, and I think there is one fellowship opportunity that you do it after you do internal medicine and it take the public health route. Some program also related to that as well, like they offer categorical internal medicine with public health.
Yes, it does the same as preventive medicine, because actually this is one of the things that I heard about and I'm really interested in, like after the internal medicine, but I don't have like much information about this. I don't know anyone who got like this opportunity before, but is that the same thing that you mean?
I do not have great experience in that, but that's definitely if you are in public health and you work, we said you work with CDC, so definitely you are talking about communicable disease as well as preventive health.
Yeah, because I heard like there is a residency program in preventive medicine, so
there is subdivision, of internal medicine categorical. Some of them they add this route as well with it.
Okay, but you have to finish the internal medicine, yes?
No, some of them it's kind of combined.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
For me, I'm more interested in radiology and neurology, and I have my residency in radiology. So I was planning on doing a master's in neuroscience, neuroimaging specifically. Would that help as well, or is it like specific master's in public health? If anyone would know something about it.
I think I'm not sure about neurology, but I hear that neurologists, they actually they would like or they prefer people with research in neurology, as well as any form of master degree that you do in neuroscience. So that's definitely your CV will be standing out among like other people. But as I mentioned, I have experience. If somebody else can give her input on that.
Yeah, my experience is in radiology, and I'm planning on applying for both of them because like I'm interested in neuroimaging and neurology and radiology. That's why I tried to do both of them by applying for a master's in neuroimaging, kind of radiology based, and at the same time neurology. But I wasn't sure how it will help since, as you said, mainly it's public health master's rather than another one. So
No.
I just wasn't.
Public health, I was talking any form of master, but she was talking about she would like to take there is some residency internal medicine with preventive health. So that's why I was talking about public health, and that's what available for a lot of people. But neurology, definitely, I know someone who matched with he did a neuroscience master as well as he matched in neurology. And from my friend experience applying to neurology, basically they would like someone have their profile or their resume mainly toward neurology. So if you make it like that, if you have a previous experience in radiology, it's okay, but at least the last 1 year or last 6 months will be dedicated for neurology. That's it. But some people, they match neurology with mixed resume. But I'm just saying they prefer people with the resume, it's purely toward neurology.
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yes, go ahead, Dr. Nadir.
Oh, yes, I just asked my question.
Okay, if there's anybody else would like to have any comment, input, or question? I don't know if Dr. Nadir is back or not yet.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Dr. Matisa.
You're welcome, Dr. Nadir.
So I think it's a good meeting today. So many interesting questions and important questions, and I think we have good answers. So for next week, I think we have some topics, some agenda. So we will see you next week. Hopefully you can join us. If you have questions, let us know. Reach me by email or text me or call me. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum. See you next week.
Thank you, Dr. Nadir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nadir.
Walaikum salam. Thank you, Dr.
Assalam
Nadir.
alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Dr. Nadir. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Dr. Nadir. Assalamu Thank you, alaikum. Dr. Nadir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Nadir.
Thank you, Dr.